Hello, Reject Nation. Greg Alba here.
And John Humphrey over here.
I got 1 hour of sleep. I'm clearly taking care of my health very well after developing a ringing ear infection. I've been at YouTube Space all day, so this video's probably going up in the morning. I've been at a YouTube Space all day filming a pilot presentation, actually, with Lauren Francesca from I Want My Lauren.
I Want My Lauren.
Yeah, it was really fun. YouTube Space is like an hour away from here, so had to get there really early. And left pretty late. But it was a total blast. It's supposed to go up on YouTube, the first one. So you guys will get to see me. I have like just a little tiny bit, but it was fun. While I was there, my brother's involved in the project too, and he got a message about this new Star Wars trilogy.
Oh boy!
That Rian Johnson is set to develop a new Star Wars trilogy. Johnson will develop the new trilogy with longtime collaborator Ram Bergman, and plans to write and direct the first installment of the trilogy. As for what this trilogy will entail, details are scarce. In shepherding this new trilogy, which is separate from the episodic Skywalker saga, Johnson will introduce new characters from a corner of the galaxy that Star Wars lore has never before explored. That sounds really cool. There's pros and cons that I can see happening to this. This seems like it could be a good jumping off point, kind of how like Fantastic Beasts was done, where they got the director of the last few Harry Potter films, which were amazing. Rian Johnson, there's been no like stipulation or terrible reports about what's been going on in The Last Jedi, other than the untimely passing of Carrie Fisher's death. But there was nothing really about like, oh, there's creative differences happening. They're doing a bunch of last minute reshoots. You know, it's been a smooth process, and whenever
they seem to have thrown their 100%. They released a featurette just about how great he is.
It's about how great Rian Johnson is. And I don't know if they like, now I'm wondering, did they do that featurette because they have Rian Johnson gonna direct a new one, so we gotta get people to love and trust him when we announce the news? Or is he just that great of a director that this was a recent development where they were like, yo, dude, we love what you're doing. Can you write and direct this new trilogy? Or at least the first installment helped start it, get it on a path that he will ultimately shepherd, which could be awesome. Or this could be a Joss Whedon situation. You know, that's the other concern, because Rian Johnson, I like that he does original films.
Yeah, and I like that he does stuff that is a bit smaller and more unique than perhaps a Star Wars movie is. But at the same time, I mean,
that's not to say Star Wars isn't unique. It's just it's still a franchise, is what he's saying.
We're several films deep. We're talking about going several films deeper. You know, like, and everything wants to be Star Wars.
Just like his own original pieces that he like Brick or Looper, you know, that like just original pieces that I want him to stick to.
And there's something about Rian Johnson where, at least thus far, he seems like he's got the skill and finesse and the judgment to where this sounds like a great idea for all intents and purposes. I mean, a skilled and assured filmmaker for sure. So it's not like J.J. Abrams, you know, where I'm like, all right, I'm sure cool. Like, I'm actually interested in this.
Like I said, pros and cons, I really mean that, because I have no idea how this direction will go. The fact that this is not going to be a Skywalker-centric based trilogy is also really exciting to me, because, I don't know, him just doing a solo spin-off actually sounds weirder than him setting up a new trilogy for some reason. And this could be a chance for him to truly invent something in the Star Wars world. While he's being inventive, obviously, with The Last Jedi, he's still continuing something that was already set up, as opposed to centering something in the Star Wars universe, make it enticing and interesting and unique enough where you want to see sequels to that specific spin-off in the Star Wars world. Super awesome to me, and I love that it doesn't seem like it's going to be heavily reliant on connecting to
stuff
other characters from the Star Wars franchise.
I like that idea of exploring parts of the Star Wars universe we haven't seen yet and stuff like that. That makes me wonder what it's going to look like, you know, because especially with so many spin-offs coming out and a new trilogy in the world, it seems like there's going to be a whole lot of Star Wars in the future, and that makes me kind of conflicted, because part of what's special about these things is that they're not just accessible to us at all times. There's not a new installment constantly, and now it looks like there's gonna be. And so it's on those movies to be extra great, you know, to justify keeping this train rolling for the next 10 years, you know, like they want to.
Well, think about this for a second. They're actually developing a live-action TV show now. Have you heard about this?
I saw the headline just there.
Oh, there's a headline there, and it's going to be on their new streaming service that's been creating a lot of controversy. Wars streaming service. And that was actually my first thought that I had. We just said I was listening to Collider Movie Talk recently.
Movie Talk.
And one of the recent ones, Clark Wolf was on there, and she was talking about why the Star Wars franchise felt so special is because we don't get a billion of these a year.
Yeah, exactly.
And even though we're getting more Star Wars than we've had in a long time, it's still just one movie a year. It's not like 3 Marvel films a year or 2 DC movies a year. 1 Star Wars movie, so it still keeps it special.
Are they going to do that with the spin-off? Is this year's Star Wars movie, whatever year, going to be Han Solo, and then next year we'll get Episode 9, or is it?
Yeah, then I imagine after Episode 9, then we'll start this new trilogy, and then maybe continue to spin off. This will officially be the Star Wars CU.
yeah, here we go.
Because, you know, you could argue that there's spin-offs, though, within the same one, but when you're going to a totally separate story outside of anything linked to the Skywalker story, I'm sure there'll be some type of linkage, but you know what I'm saying? Don't get so anal, okay? I haven't really read much about the Star Wars TV show. No details are available at the series on this point. There was a time in my life where I did want a Star Wars live-action TV show. There was a time in my life where that sounded like a really cool thing. Nowadays, though, I doubt it. Well, Inhumans for Marvel is a show that's like, this should have just been a movie. Then it probably would have been way better as a movie. No. Especially like blasting it on IMAX. To throw this at a streaming service, I mean, like, how much are they really going to throw down? Because I feel like for Star Wars, you would need the CGI. You would need that all up to par.
Yeah, that would need to be a super expensive show because there's so much legacy and mythology and so many effects that are in the DNA of this.
And Disney doesn't throw essentially a crap ton of money for damn good CGI in a lot of their Disney-produced TV shows. Now, this would be a brand new thing where it's like, this is Disney's streaming service, so they might. I just think that for Star Wars, you're going to need some pretty cool CGI. I like, no matter the story, no matter how grounded it is, you're going to need it. Yeah, exactly.
Props and makeups and animatronics.
Yeah. And it also kind of ruins the feeling, just a tad bit, like, I'm totally, like, once it launches, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to check it out. That sounds, I have to see what a Star Wars live-action TV show is.
And hey, great content is great content no matter what. But the thing is, if it's, again, I know we've been talking about this point a lot this year, but, you know, it is Star Wars. It is arguably the most beloved franchise of all time. So
it's the second highest grossing franchise of all time, right behind the Pokemon franchise, which is $13 billion. I read that today. Yeah.
Go, Ash, go! Catch them all. Catch all those dollar bills. The Star Wars show, I feel like there's something cool that could be done with that, but I feel like it has to bring it, and it has to be great, because the problem is now Star Wars is becoming more and more frequent and common and accessible, and the only way to keep that really working is by making sure you have a dynamite product on your hands. It can't just be okay. It can't be Alien Covenant, you know?
I might be interested in it if it has no connection at all to the Skywalker franchise or this new trilogy set as well. Otherwise, I'm going to go, oh, Disney is just flat out turning Star Wars into the MCU right now.
Yeah.
Where you got your other movies, your cinematic universe, and you got your TV shows. It's like, of course, I expect the Star Wars TV show to be connected in some degree. It's to be part of the same universe in this galaxy. But I don't want it to be like, this is all tied into movies I've seen, you know?
Yeah, well, and I would hope that with a Star Wars television show, they'll open up and start exploring some different themes or some different, you know, allegorical tales and stuff like that. Borrow a bit of the intellect from Star Trek or something like that, you know, and make the series something special.
Less about giant spectacle, which I don't feel like Star Wars is you know, as big as it is because it's only about spectacle. This isn't Transformers or Fast and Furious or something, you know? This is something with much deeper thought, and maybe the show could take the time to really explore that. Yeah. And that's what also gets me excited about Rian Johnson, because he's really into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So if him setting up a new trilogy and a new show, So Rian Johnson's the new Joss Whedon.
There's going to be one episode that's just only about like Chewie trying to kill a fly inside the Millennium Falcon, and he just can't do it.
Chewbacca Origins.
Chewbacca, hey, we need to know.
It's all about how he met Han Solo. It's about it's a Han Solo show.
Just hand it right off.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, let's take it to you beautiful bastards. I listen to Philip DeFranco here. Hear about that Louis C.K. stuff?
I heard.
So, are you guys excited for the Star Wars trilogy? This new one by Rian Johnson. What are your thoughts on it, my friends? And how do you feel about a live-action Star Wars TV show? If you say anything negative about it, you are just not a Star Wars fan.
You're a hater.
That's it. It's plain and simple. That's all you are. Subscribe to The Real Rejects. Please click that notification bell. You can follow John Humphrey and I on social media. And please check out our Patreon. Become a Patronaject today, people.
Do it.
Could be worth your time. Might be worth mine. Could be worth God's.